So in the last video I touched on how I want to dive deeper into the process of how I make my lures, from the carving to the casting all the way to the painting. In this video I'm just going to run through that process really quick, try to show every step and what works best for me. Definitely let me know in the comments though what you guys would want to see for future videos. I plan on doing some mods on this boat. It's my 16-foot tractor that I've had for a couple years. Last year I put on a Minn Kota Ultrex and then eventually put on live scope. And I'm still learning how to use those equipment. So definitely let me know if that's something you'd like to see. Little overview of the boat. I have the Minn Kota Ultrex 36 volt with the Fish Obsessed live scope mount. I'm running a 12-inch echo map for my main live scope, and then a 7-inch on the side just for side scan. Recessed foot pedal. Eventually I do want to swap out the carpet for HydroTurf or whatever that's called, so that could be a fun video. Have a 9-inch right at the helm, and then a 30 horse out the back. I mainly just use this rig to go up into the rivers and the larger ponds on the Cape. So definitely let me know if that's something you guys would want to see. All right, let's head down to the shop. All right, down in the shop. It's usually a little dirtier and messier than this, but I tried to clean it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna run through the process really quick, each step. Just like any bait, you wanna start with a block of wood. I usually just use poplar. I've tried other woods, but poplar's always worked best for me. And then you want to cut the bait down to the width and the length that you want. You'll have to trace out some stencils. There's a bunch of stencils that I've made throughout the years. You're gonna cut that profile out of the bait. Then you're gonna want to round that bait off. This is a little spook that I'm working on right now. You can see I've already kind of started to carve those edges down. You'll get something looking like that. If it's a jointed bait, you'll want to cut the joints and everything while it's still square, so everything stays nice and uniform. At that point, we're going to want to start doing a lot more carving, being as precise as we can. Once we get all our details done, facial features, gill plates, we're going to want to continue to cut the rest of those joints out. It looks something like this. Lots and lots of sanding later. You're going to want to hit the bait with some filling primer. Try to get any imperfections out of the way. Just a quick overview of the different stages. All while I'm doing these steps, I'm trying to maintain a perfect center line down the bait just to make sure everything is nice and straight. Once I feel comfortable where the bait's at, I'll start getting onto molding the bait. So I'll make a couple of these Lego forms and I'll fill them in with clay. A lot like this one right here. I'll just lay that flat. Then I'll overlay the bait on top of the clay and trace out how much I need to carve out of the clay so I can lay that bait flush halfway in the mold. Once I get the seams all perfect, I'll have to press in some guide holes similar to what the Legos have, and then a little bit of venting up in the top so all the gas can release and there's no air bubbles in the finished product. Here's an overview of the different steps. And then once I get this mold finalized and I have all the locations where I need pressed in, I'll take another one of these Lego forms and set it on top, and then that will be my guide to fill the silicone. After the mold cures, you're gonna have something that looks a lot like this. Just poured this bluegill bait just to show for a reference. Here's the tail piece. I haven't demolded yet. The resin I'm using currently is Specialty Resin Company. And to make the resin buoyant, I have to mix in a percentage of micro balloons so it floats. After demolding the pieces, I'll have to put some ballast weight in the bottom, like any traditional crankbait. With glide baits, I'll have to be a little more precise and get that weight perfect so it perfectly falls level. So after drilling the lead holes and filling those with lead, I'll also have to drill my pinholes to fit some jointed baits together. At that point, once the lead cools, I'll mix up a little extra resin with some micro balloons and I'll use that to fill over the lead holes. There'll still be some little imperfections left, like air bubbles and anything that you want to fill in. So then I'll go over with some glazing putty and just fill in those little holes and sand before painting. After lots and lots of sanding, I'll throw the baits in some dish soap water just to kind of lift all that dust and debris off the bait so there's nothing interfering with the paint adhesion. After I wash and assemble each bait, they make their way over here to the paint booth, and that's where the creativity really starts. There's a lot of detail and depth that I can go into about painting these baits, so definitely let me know in the comments if that's something you would want to see in a future video. It's a little too much to get into this one. I'll show you a quick trick that I used to paint some scales. I have these two baits ready to go right now. It's my Iwata airbrush right there. Loads and loads of Cretex paint. A couple little basic stencils. After paint, the baits will make it over here to my clear coat booth, where I have a normal automotive gun, and I never forget to mask up. I'm also working on expanding my koi pond as a test tank and somewhere I could get swim videos a little easier than traveling to the nearest pond. I'll show you how it looks. This pond has been established for almost 20 years. Mainly just a koi pond, but last year I put in a couple sunfish. Might be able to see one down there. I think I'm just going to keep this as a wetland filter that's going to have a waterfall going down into this larger pond that I'm going to dig a little deeper. Definitely let me know in the comments if that pond build is something you guys would want to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I still feel like a baby giraffe learning how to walk, but can only get better with time, and I hope you guys want to stick around. A like or a comment would help me so much on this video, and if you want to see more, definitely subscribe. I hope to see you guys in the next one.